WIIFTBP Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP Media's just for you and me.
Oh man, they done messed around and gave New Era Chicago their own radio show. What they do that for?
You done messed up!
So what we doing, bro?
Man, we talk about power.
Did you say power?
Not rights and equality, but power. We ain't begging, we building.
In that order, Chicago, and we got dope segments. Hey, yo, sis, holla at them.
Peace and love, family. It's Sister E of New Era Chicago in the building, dropping the statistics, holistics, and of course the ballistics. Good for the mind, body, and the soul. Let's get it, family.
And this your boy D Cook coming with straight facts. If you don't know, now you know.
And this is your other sister, Omo Oya Music, coming in peace, love, and light, getting real with my people so we can quit with the bull spit.
And this brother E, and I'm gonna wrap it up with the power surge.
Listen, it's going down every Wednesday night, 5 to 6 p.m. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's the Black Power Hour, New Era Chicago Radio on What's in It for the Black People Media.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
The skin of men fit me fine, tailor-made, yeah, I'm comfortable. And so it seems I'm still chasing my dreams. They told me, watch my steps, they want to pull the rug from under you. This is transparency, my life 3D. Live every word that I utter, reporting live from the gutter. Where the mind's hard to change, but we don't give up on our brothers and sisters. Cause we all need one another. The time's getting closer, revolution, feel it coming. I can smell it in the air. Inhale it, let it embody you. Because chances are the cops pull you over, they body you. Plus we don't trust each other, so there's just another obstacle. Why jump hurdles to make a change? It ain't optional. Olympian mindset in this booth with my binoculars. I see my vision getting clear. Justice what a prophet do. My music touch the people's soul. Black power gospel tune. So many styles, watch me kick them like they soccer moves. Falling rank and file, this is my platoon. Soldiers at attention, ain't no Willie lynching. This the program. Who they think they kidding? Reinvent the system. Total reconstruction of our mental stigma. This ain't a game, boy. Still they think I'm talking about Nintendo's. That's a shame, boy. Augment reality. Better fix your brain, boy. I love my people, hope they love me black. I'm going hard and ain't no holding back. Watch me react. I put my fist up in the skies like a beacon for believers that one day we return to our greatest city. We seek it all the glory we can obtain and keep reaching. I'm painting this picture. I hope you see it. Guess what the theme is? I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud, man. I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey, hey, hey. Well, how about you to sing these tunes too? Customize for you a little something you can groove to. Feeling good about yourself. Melanated mood muse. Always service humble pie. We don't care about who's who. Light brown or dark skin. This right here's for you too. We are the gods of the earth. Living proof truth. Say it loud if you black and proud. I salute you and that's a fact. Where you at? Let me hear you say it back. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey, hey, hey. Super melanation, renovation of our databases. Gotta fix the trinity to make it past the matrix. There's a rabbit in the hole. No decision, you gon' chase it or just shut it for complacency. Here's your motivation. Black power in your veins. Up to us to build a nation. European mental detox completely we erase it. Cause you can't keep fighting over old information. Right, bring it right back. If you love being black, I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud, man. I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey, hey, hey. I do this for my people all across the map. Even for the ones who don't identify with being black. Hebrews the best elixir. Go ahead and try your best. This truth serum, my loose spirits. The ancestors speak to me. I spit the truth. Hear it. You hear it. Souls here to re-engineer them so that they fearless. This precious atmospheric as the hell is spinning. Trying to to strategize a way so we can start winning. Images with pride of yourself. Embracing this feeling. Say no new friends. That's what happened to the village. Too much individualism. It's easier to pillage. I'm just making this appearance for coherence. So you can understand what we up against. Hit the reset button. Switch covenants. It's my contract to the people that I'm publishing. It's a new era. Hood to hood. Feel the power and I'm loving it. Turn up. Net turn up. Strapped with the black burner. Murder, murder. I'm sleeping and I shoot up the server. Corrupt the service after 5 minutes. Time to purge them. We waking up and that's what got them nervous. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey, hey,
In all of the programs that I attended, all of the education that I had, college, public, and otherwise, nobody ever told me that I was an African woman. Nobody ever told me what the history of African people were. Nobody ever told me that America is business and without business you will have nothing and be nothing. And nobody ever told me how to organize business so that I would be able to develop institutions in my own community. So now the sincerity of all of the programs and all of the education has to be questioned, indicted, and convicted, because the bottom line is that America is not and has never tried to produce African adults who are functional, self-sufficient, who understand their politics, their economics, and their relationship to the world politics and the world economics. Listen, you have to have some confidence in the power of African people amongst ourselves to establish a foundation. We have it. We have utter chaos in our cities, and you got to build that. You can have a program. I'm not saying we've built a lot of institutions, and those institutions have not been effective. The majority of millions of African youth in this country are dying mentally, dying spiritually, dying emotionally, dying academically, and you may have a program, Mr. Brown may have a program, but what we got to talk about is an American government that tracks millions of African people who don't go to your program, don't go to Brown's program, millions of African people, not only here, but all around the world. And if we are not honest enough to say who are our friends, who are our enemies, to know what a friend is, to know what an enemy is, we will constantly be trying to get into people's parties, to shake our butts with them, to get them to like us, and that's not the question. The question is, what can we build amongst ourselves to secure ourselves from our enemies so that we will be able to survive into the future?
You know what time it is, family. It don't stop.
At all.
Anytime you hear sister come in spitting them facts like that, you know what time it is. It is the #1 Black Power Hour in the nation. New Era Chicago Radio on What's in It for the Black People Media. It's your boy D Cook, and you know I'm not by myself. You already hear one of the queens on location.
Always talking. That's me. What's up, y'all?
That's my girl right there. You already know, family. Sister E, what's good?
What's the word, family? What's the word?
No doubt. Brother E, always focused.
What up,
you ready
family?
for the business, man.
And they're tagging.
What's happening?
No doubt. Listen, family, welcome back to everyone that's tuning in live. This is what we need you to do. First and foremost, touch down with us. Just let us know where you're checking in from, right? And then tag somebody else to let them tune into this show, because this is about to be a hit, family.
Come on.
Sister E, we had some things that went on over the week, right?
Well, we did. So the week before last, we forgot to touch on that. We did our Bad Black tour. Mm-hmm. And after that, we had our we did a
national tour.
The national tour. We went to our southern chapters. We went to Birmingham and we went to Atlanta. So shout out to the family, New Era Birmingham and New Era Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Peace, family. So you know that a lot of those videos, I didn't get to go this time, but I watched those videos, y'all, and y'all look so dope.
Yeah.
Man,
I don't know what it is about Birmingham. I always make it be raining though, but it be all love though.
Hey, you know what it is? I think for me, touching down there, that was my first time. You know, touching down. Just
That was your first time?
it was, bro. It was.
Period,
you know?
or with the
I
nation?
think period. You know, I've probably been a child and rolled through there with grandmama. You know, but
okay.
now not being conscious and stepping foot on the land, right?
Yeah.
So me and brother EJ, we just riding through like Alabama, like thinking of the states. I mean, of the cities that we know that's historic, that stick with us. You know, like Mobile,
Yeah, that's where my
Birmingham,
dad from.
right? And so when we get to Birmingham, right, just things start happening. I start feeling a pulse inside of me. First thing was when we was on the expressway, me and brother EJ saw like it could have been 6 Confederate flags.
Oh,
together.
of course. Yeah.
Right, and then that, I mean, I already knew what it was, but it really sunk in at that time, right? I'm like, man, the ancestors, you know, what they went through in this land specifically, right?
Yeah.
You know, so to be in Birmingham, and one of the blocks that we were on, we were passing out food to the community and just passing out resources. It had this sign that says, slum clearance. Slum clearance. And I read the sign on the billboard right there, right? Slum clearance. Just some of the things they did in that city as well as across the nation, right? Just rule out things or label things hazardous. And it was always in the areas where we live, like public health, you know what I'm saying, related things.
Yeah.
And just to see the family, like, gentrification happen, even at that time, right? You know, it was just real historic, you know, and the same thing that we're yelling out all the time, you know, like we have to do something for ourselves right now. No one is coming to save us, no matter what city we go to.
Exactly.
That's it. I remember one time we went to Birmingham, and man, that was one trip that made me cry. We went, man, it looked like a third world country. You know, there was like shacks almost. Like on one side it was houses, but the other side, like, it looked like an alley, but it wasn't an alley. And it was like burnt up building. You know, just, I don't know. I can't call them shacks, but they look like garages. And then we walked a little bit further, and soon you get across the street, there's big houses with grass and front porches and all this other fancy stuff. And I'm just like, damn, how can this be just right across the street?
The tracks. Yeah.
It don't make no sense. Like, it was bad. But that day I do particularly remember we got a double rainbow after it rained that hard.
Check that out right there.
Y'all know
That confirmation.
I was floating.
The ancestors always walking with us.
Ashe,
Right?
they do.
Ashe,
Yeah,
Ashe.
they do.
All right, so check it out, family. You know what time it is? The pulse doesn't stop. Every time we come to the table, we come with critical thinking skills, solution-focused critical thinking skills, like we're trying to solve a problem. We're trying to solve a problem, and we're trying to solve a problem and be here to see the fruits of that labor. You feel me, family? Now, if it has to happen down the line, then so be it. Ashe, right? But we want to see it happen. And so we try to think of things that we can make happen right now that could bring us together, that can put us kind of like in a unified mentality.
Exactly.
So we can start solving some of these problems. So today, and only for today, and understand us, family, when we bring this to the table. Anything that we bring to the table is coming from a position of love. Understand that.
think
You'll
it's
hear that a
two-part.
couple of more times today.
It's 2-part. But
It's
go ahead.
2-part. Oh, no doubt. Definitely.
Extended
definitely.
conversation.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? But I want them to know everything that you hear is coming from the heart. And so you always hear my brother E. He's always saying something. Anytime we're doing the streets is watching, anytime we're moving hood to hood, anytime we're focused in, he's always saying, black man, your race needs you. Today we're going to focus in and we're going to unpack that and discuss that. And you know what? That's my cue to stop running my mouth and just pass the microphone to my brother E. Brother E, please take over and break down why this is so important to you and what you mean when you say that, bro.
Okay, thank you, family. So the title of today's broadcast is just simply Black Men, Your Race Needs You. And we're discussing black manhood. You all have heard me mention before Dr. Amos Wilson, and he talks about how manhood and how it's defined is supremely related to the survival of a people.
Supremely.
That means extremely important, vital. You know what I'm saying? Manhood and how it's related is supremely related. I'm sorry. Manhood and how it's defined is supremely related to the survival of a people, to their survival. the definition of a man, what's expected of a man, what are the duties and responsibilities of a man, and how that is defined is supremely related to the survival of a people. To a large degree in our communities, and let me start off with saying this. Let's say, because I don't want this to turn into an accusatory session, not necessarily with us, but in the comments. Because today we are specifically talking about the responsibility of men, of black men particularly, as it relates to the black community. Let's stray away from this is not a session where I'm trying to ostracize or beat the brothers down. Please don't take this as, excuse my language, pussy pandering. And sisters that may be in the comments, I would ask that you would refrain from just disrespect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Negative energy.
Yeah, negative energy. What I got to say is some real shit, and it's gonna sting.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? That's not the purpose. I'm trying to get our brothers to understand that, like, we are at a critical point, you know what I'm saying, in our communities, and just in general. To a large degree in our communities, there's this kind of anything goes mentality. Anything, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what happens in our community. We don't organize ourselves to address these issues. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who gets killed, how undeservingly, how brutal it is. It just it doesn't prompt a response. And let me say this also. You know, I talk a lot about the responsibility of protecting, you know, I talk a lot about the protection of black women and children being the responsibility of black men. And I need brothers to understand that, listen, like I said, this is not about pussy pandering. This is not about being no sucker for no woman. This is not about, you know, necessarily trying to teach you how to deal with you know, particular women in your personal relationships.
And it's sad you got to qualify.
Yeah, but it's just, this is just where we at.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is not about that. This is about organizing ourselves so that we can make it understood that just can't any and everything happen over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. We have to organize ourselves and be of the mindset that says can't any and everything happen over here. And there has to be an understanding. And that understanding has to be exist between law-abiding citizens, street niggas, gangsters,
last one of you,
the police, and anybody else. Like I said before, any and everything can happen in our communities. Our children are murdered on a regular, and we don't feel compelled to address that shit. We see instances of foreigners in our community literally dragging the sisters, beating, stomping them, putting their feet. And they feel comfortable coming back in the community the next day.
Yeah, and make money.
And make their money. You know what I'm saying? The police, they do what they do. Because don't take this the wrong way, and I mean this respectfully and with as much humility as possible. But you know how they say you're a non-fucking factor? Yep. That's a harsh statement.
It is, but it's real.
It's because to a large degree, we are a non-fucking factor. Nobody considers the repercussions of what they do before they do it. Because ain't nobody coming to see about them. Ain't nobody, it don't matter what happened. Nobody is coming to check to see, hey, what's going on over here? We were talking last night, and I was talking about, you mentioned that there were like, 200, 300 children that have been murdered in the city already?
Well, over 300 that have been shot. Yeah, we
not
have
murdered.
Over 30 that have been murdered, though. That's like over 3 too many per month.
Yeah.
There's no way that would be happening in Chinatown. There's no way the men in the Asian men would stand by and see their children murdered. I don't give a fuck who's doing it,
because that's their future.
You couldn't go up north on Devon and do that. What's that? Where the Indians exist, the East Indians. You know what I'm saying? Even the Latinos, they not having that, and you know Europeans is not having it. So why do we stand for that shit? Go ahead.
Sister E was you brought up something other day when we was talking about this topic. I'm getting tongue tied right now because I'm truly emotional about this topic. Like, this is everything right here, what we're talking about. You mentioned something. I thought I saw that on the news as well, where fathers like got together in the community and said like enough is
What was
enough.
that, Louisiana?
Oh, yeah,
I want you
Louisiana.
to speak on that, sis, and I guess kind of to the fact like is that what I'm saying? What we're trying to do is that why isn't that spreading quickly through the communities?
In a sense, I think it is though, because and I won't just say New Era started it, but we have been. Here's the thing with New Era Chicago, we demonstrate. A lot of people say, "Oh, y'all protesting." No, we demonstrating what's required to, what I'm saying, at least try to take back our streets in our city. So what we saw in Louisiana, the dads got together, the kids were fighting, just constantly fighting. And it was about maybe, I think, 9 or 10 dads got together and they just, they be at the schools, they first name basis with the kids, crack jokes with them. And, it slowed down.
It stopped it.
It stopped it. And the same thing had happened in Detroit. They were having like these brawls at the high schools. You know what I'm saying? In New Era Detroit, they've started, a conflict resolution program, and it's men. So it's a different story when it's men and women, but when it's brothers, when it's grown men
to see
coming
that.
to see
It
about the
speaks
kids,
volumes.
it speaks volumes, and it's something that's rarely seen. So it's powerful and effective.
And one of the things that was so dope about it was like the brother said, the guy who headed it up, I can't think of his name, but he acknowledged the fact that there were young men and women at the schools that did not have fathers present. And so they understood that they were responsible for standing in for those children too. And so the children in the school called them all dad. Like they are dad to all of those kids. And when the children were talking about it, it was just a light in their eyes. There was a joy that they had because you could only imagine how our children feel with all of the things that are going on in the world around them. And to know that the people who are responsible for them are doing absolutely nothing. And so when you show up, and I get, there are some spaces and some people that are doing some things, but on the level that we are being attacked,
There should
the
be so
amount
much
of
more.
people that are, it's minuscule. It's minuscule. It's definitely not enough. And those babies are hungry for that, and we owe them at least that.
Yeah, no doubt, right? Something else Sister E said. You was dropping jewels, sis. You was dropping jewels. No, might have been Sister Oya. It don't matter. The whole team,
We
know what I'm
speak
saying? We're
as a-
working on
yeah.
the same level, right?
Yeah, I was
mentioned-
bumping gums about that laugh, but go ahead.
But
bro.
somebody mentioned, and it was so poignant. My brother AC Green, he always talk about it as well. So shout out to bro for that. But he always mentioned, like, what is our insult level? I think that's what Brother E was trying to get to earlier, right? Like, we got things that happen in the community. Over 300 children that's been shot, right? Like, bro, you not insulted yet?
Niggas we don't bat an eye about that shit. We've become accustomed to it, and that's scary. That's scary that we can have a situation where where innocent, like the most innocent and undeserving among us, you know what I'm saying, can be cut down, and we don't see a need to like stand. Like, come on, bro. And I say this all the time. The protection of the well-being of the black community is the responsibility of the black community. And y'all was quoting me wrong this morning. I was about to get on y'all ass.
Players, fuck up.
Wait. Say it again then.
The well-being of the black community
Well-being.
is the responsibility of the black community in
Okay.
general.
We'll get it right next time.
The protection of black women and children is the responsibility of black men in particular. And as we were talking last night, you know what I'm saying, there are definitely issues that exist between the sexes, as with black men and black women. But if we don't come to a basic understanding that as black men, it's your responsibility to see to it that the women and children are protected. Like, shouldn't any and everything go on over here? And again, it's not about being the biggest, baddest, smartest, toughest, excuse my language, nigga. It ain't about that. But men stand up when they have to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Men stand up when they have to. Now, you have to ask yourself, is there a shortage of instances and situations that require men to stand up?
Absolutely not.
Or is there a shortage of men? And this ain't, again, brothers that's listening, don't take this the wrong way, because I'm trying to put something on your mind. Is there a shortage of situations that require us to stand up, or are we just not standing up? And what is occupying our time and our mind that makes us unwilling to?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
No, family, we want to hear your feedback. We want you inside the comments.
Oh, they talking.
Leaving that information. We got something already pulled up, sis?
Well, I mean, one of the major themes is this idea of hatred for each other and ourselves, and the fact that the revolution starts with self. So you can't talk about being a part of a revolution if you haven't done some work within yourself. We hate each other. There's no love amongst us. We are the reason why every aspect of white supremacy flourishes. That is the truth.
That's a big horse pill. That wasn't hard to swallow right there.
Yeah.
That is true. But in spite of all that,
In spite of all of that.
you know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, I trust me, I'm full aware of the damage and what we've survived and the attacks against us. But in spite of all that, we got to fix this shit.
Absolutely.
We have got to fix this.
Family, you're tuned in to the #1 Black Power Hour in the nation. It's New Era Chicago Radio. Today we're talking about Black man, your race needs you. And we would love to have your input. Family, I want to go back to what we were talking about earlier when you talked about the men in Louisiana. And I brought that up for a reason, right? Because I'm sure that, those men have careers.
Got other obligations.
That's basically, I can just cut right through it.
Whatever they
I'm
may be.
sure they have other obligations, right? It's this word that you always talk about. And I want to say this too, because there's a lot of people that are listening that may be thinking to themselves like, I'm committed. What I do for a living, like for instance, I'm a social worker. What I do feels good. I could get off of work and feel as though I played my part. Like man, I went hard today. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 people, I got housing. I sent the sister to, yeah, no doubt, Queen. I sent the sister to a treatment center. We sent somebody else over town. We got a bed for them over here. You can feel good, right? But you always talk about this word called sacrifice, bro.
Sacrifice.
Because I just want to say this last point. When I was at work, what I did was good. But I want you to keep in mind that they paid me a check to do that, which benefits my personal family, right? It's some things that we should do that should be selfless, that benefits more than just your direct family. And also this, it feels stronger when you do it with a unit. It's powerful when you do it strapped with something. Go ahead, bro.
First, let me say this. First and foremost, understand that there is no sideline in this shit. Everybody has different roles, but there is no sideline. The idea or the fact that you think you ain't gonna do shit and not be regarded in a particular way, nah, we can't have that. To use an analogy that a lot of black men will understand, because a large degree to a large number of black men are consumed with sports. That's our religion. We live and die by that shit, right? So black men understand that, during the playoffs in any sport, baseball, football, basketball, what else do we watch? I don't know if we watch hockey too much. I don't know, but whatever.
Anyway, boxing,
right?
Sure. UFC.
But during certain times, during critical times, right, you are expected to increase your level of production and your level of intensity, right? So to use an analogy that black men can understand, the community is under attack. The community is under attack. And as a black man, you are expected to increase your level of production and your level of intensity. You know what I'm saying? So it's not enough that you don't gang bang, that you don't sell dope, that you may have never have done those things. That's not enough. It's not enough that you go to work, you come home, and you see about your family. We are at war. There's more required of you.
Come on, King.
There's more required of you. We are under attack, so it's not enough that you know. And to use the analogy again, You are during the playoffs. You expected to
It's
up your
playoff
level of
time.
intensity.
That's all I was thinking. It's playoff time.
Your 10 points a game, that ain't gonna get it. We need 15 from you.
And you a wild card team. Come on.
We you know what I'm saying?
Win to go home.
That's the point that we at right now.
And
That's
you
the
see
point
it
that
when
we
they're not
at
on the field.
right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that we should understand. As I stated earlier, manhood and how it's defined is supremely related to the survival of a people. And I understand that, you know, black manhood, it's under attack and it's under indictment at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And so what we are, it's under attack, like, you know, the what a man, how we define manhood, right? How we define it.
Yeah, right.
Under this system, it'll be everything that we don't need it to be for our people, right?
How many
so
women
as a black man, right? As a black man, you if as a black man and the function of black manhood as it relates to the black community, right? If it's required that you be fierce protectors and defenders of your community, that you be you have a loyalty and an allegiance to your community, you'll be and have everything except that. You'll be you won't be that, and you won't see the need to be that. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way manhood is defined. Like even now, under the most what's the word? I can't even think of the word. The way manhood is defined now, under the most what is the word? I'm sorry, family.
And I'm leaving this space, right? Because silence is good sometimes, right? Because it gives us a second to
Man, it's
linger
hot up in here.
the
I can't
thought.
even think. Shoot. But
I wasn't gonna say
the most harmless or whatever definition of manhood, right? Okay. It's like I say, you know, most men, they feel good about themselves if they haven't necessarily done any harm. They take care of their children. They're honest. They come and they come back home to their family.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? I ain't hurt nobody. And you think that's all that's required from you. And you know what? If that's how you feel, fine. But you still gonna be regarded in a certain way. You still gonna be regarded in a certain manner because, like I said, we at war. We're at war, so more is required from you. More is required from you. You know, we have to define it in a different way. We have to define it in a manner where it. Dr. Amos Wilson, I'm going to keep bringing this brother up. He talks about societies define manhood so that when an individual acts out his manhood, there's a benefit to the community. You know what I'm saying? So in being a man, if being a man means you have to protect the women and children, there's a benefit to the community in acting out your manhood. But for us, being a man is getting together with our boys on Saturday, drinking, talking about bitches and hoes, talking about, you know, how LeBron scored whatever, you know, did whatever, talking about shoes, know all the stats, know all of that shit, but can't tell you what the fuck is going on right outside their door. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're cut off. Your acting out your manhood is no benefit to the community, but it is a benefit to the status quo. It's a benefit to the system because, like I said, whatever happens in our community, you don't feel prompted. Like you don't feel prompted to address this shit. And usually, when there's a challenge laid to a brother's manhood, it's gonna be something going on, right? It's gonna, you know what I'm saying? If somebody just come in and just ultimately disrespect your manhood, you know what I'm saying? There's something that happened. There has to be there's a conflict, right? Not when it comes to black men and what's happening with our, you know, with our communities. Like 300 children shot. That ain't a challenge to black manhood. Asian men dragging black women by the hair and stomping them and what? That ain't a challenge to the manhood.
That was a young girl. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The police being able to come in the community and just act and do whatever and ain't scared to come back the next day. That's not a challenge to our manhood. Right. That's not a challenge to our manhood, bro. I mean, man, there's something wrong. We got to get our minds. We got to get our minds oriented correctly.
Listen, Kings. I'll go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
No, I was gonna say I'd like to even challenge the idea that you're taking care of, like, as long as your household is straight, you're taking care of your children. Because, like Sis says, your children are going to have to react with the other children in the community. Your family is going to have to react or to sustain outside of that household. And if you are not setting boundaries and making sure there are consequences so that they can walk safely, they can go to parks and you know, because I remember as a kid, like, we could walk to the park, you know, even if we wasn't supposed to. We were supposed to be on the block. But if we knew mama got home at such and such time, we would sneak off, walk to the park. We weren't worried about, and I'm not saying that things were like so much better then, but to where we are now, our children can't go to parks. You're afraid to go to stores. Like, everything has to be done a certain way. So are you really taking care of your family if you're not taking care of the community? So you got to check yourself even when you say, well, my family's straight. No, they not, baby.
Yeah. See, them
They're
two
not.
them two go hand in hand. I'm so glad Sister said that, right? That's that yin and that yang. That's that gift and that curse, right? Like, family, understand that your dream, your freedom is connected to the neighbor's dreams and freedom, right? We connected together, family, right? So listen, I just want to put out a call to action out there to the kings, right? Just to break this down, and to everybody that's listening, right? I really want you to think about this. We're talking about unifying. I want you to just think about, like, this is only something you can do. This is personal to you. I want you to think about your block, like right now, and identify the youth, like, on your block. Can you do that? Like, you should be able to do that. I don't live on your block. You should be able to say, okay, it's 2 young men at that house right there. It's a young lady right there. Can you think of something like creative to be able to do that would be monumental for them to see as young people, to be like, I came up this way. On that day when they had that gathering or
The block
that
party.
block party.
Bring back the
get
block
it
party,
cracking.
baby.
If you got to put a deuce in the quarter at both ends on the block, do what you got to do,
yeah,
all right?
Yeah.
Quarter.
On both ends. Shut
Can we
it
get
down.
some report cards after the 4th quarter? You know, and we giving out $5 for A's.
Yeah.
Can we get some of the kings on the block to be like, you know what? We can't make it every day of school, but, you know, we off on Mondays. It's 3 of us. We could pop up there. All right, y'all 3 off on Tuesday. You could pop up there, right? My call to action is, and thank you for whatever service you're doing right now. Because one thing for sure, right? When we come on here, we don't want you to get it twisted. You don't have to be with New Era Chicago in order to be effective. We never
Not at all. Not at
want
all.
anybody to walk away with that idea like, oh, they just don't hear recruiting trying to get their numbers. No. Because understand this, family, right? We connect with people in the community all day long.
All day, every day.
For the purposes of showing what black love look like in public, right? You ain't got to be right here. We just want you working because many hands make the work light. So I just want every brother that's putting in work, you know, just to think about what it would look like if everybody decided to put in like 1 more hour a week, 2 more hours, you know? I'm good. That's it. I appreciate that pause right there. You know, I'm done, right? I just wanted to put that call to action. I wanted them to think.
That's
like
powerful.
for a second, like, can I give 1 hour a week? Can I come out the streets just watching one day? You can inbox me, family. Like, look, hey, D-Cook, I ain't ready to be out there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But you know what, bro? Every other Thursday, bro, I can make it out there. All right, man? Man, we'll take that, bro. We'll take that, because if every man did that, we'll have nonstop security around the clock. We'll have nonstop love around the clock.
That's it.
And with that, like when you mentioned Streets is watching, Milton Ingram says Chicago is #1 as far as missing young adults. We no longer even talk about the young pregnant lady who was a post office carrier who came up missing.
It's
And
still.
here's the power in
Kiara Coles.
a Streets is watching program. You're out in the community. You're walking the streets. You're talking to the community. You're asking questions. You're getting information. You know what I'm saying? You're figuring out what's happening, and that because with what's the sister Treasure? You know,
Hendrix.
Hendrix. Right now, the family is just looking for answers. CPD ain't gonna give them. They got them. They ain't gonna give them. Whose responsibility is it to get the answers? Who puts their foot on the ground to make anybody that would do something wrong in the community to say, well, maybe we don't, because they be out here. They be talking to each other.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You know, it's a the black community needs a security force.
Come on.
The black community needs to be secured. The black community needs to be protected. Whose responsibility is that? Ask yourself that simple question. Whose responsibility? Don't talk about whose job it is. Don't say, well, that's what I pay the police for. That's what I pay. Don't reduce this to a job. Whose responsibility
Come on.
is it?
It's a total difference.
There's
than
a
what you
there's
just
a
said.
total difference.
But I voted for her.
I don't give a fuck.
But the police beat.
I don't care. Whose responsibility is it? Not whose job is it? Not who's been given the task. Whose responsibility
Your
is it?
natural responsibility.
I saw a post the other day. 64,000 black women missing in the country. 64,000 missing.
That is the size of the Bears Stadium. I just want to FYI. y'all.
Man.
64,000 missing. Now, check this out. 64,000 black women missing. You know, in my humble opinion, before we watch another down, another play, another second of a sport, before we consume ourselves with that shit, we should at least be checking to see at least if that's even true. We should be checking to see, is it at least true? Right. If it's true, what the fuck is going on and what can we do about it?
My thing is, it don't spark nothing. It don't make you be like, damn, what could I do?
64,000.
Can you imagine?
As a
Missing.
woman, what made me want to come out here? I got tired of seeing the brothers getting wiped out by the police.
Yeah.
I remember staying in my bed just like, what is going on?
Philando
What can I
Castiles.
do?
Yeah.
And it's recorded. That is traumatic.
And we sharing it and watching it on replay.
And it's like so much of it, you know, we can watch me like, damn, that's fucked up. And that be it. Something's wrong with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not no judgment, it's the truth.
That's the truth.
Boosie says, and I'm in the comments now, right? This just caught my attention. She said, and it's to the point, but it's something that you'll look over in comments. Like she says, if we don't save the other babies with our own kids, if we don't save the other babies with our kids. What I got from that, right? I read that and I saw another comment that she had, like, we got to focus in on our children. And it sparked a thought within me, right? Like the thing that you see, we always talk about like advertisement on TV. Remember, everything is pitching to us. Not just our money. They're not just separating us from our money. They're separating us from our child's intellect. Like they're taking our baby's brains,
They're taking our humanity.
away.
Our humanity.
And so goes the compassion.
We gotta fight. We have to fight for our salvation. We gotta fight for our humanity. Let's keep that same language, right? Like that's the great fight right now, family. That's
And
the
not
great
to
fight.
get them to see, because let's be clear.
Yeah.
not
Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that.
Right, but I just felt the need to, because you know people they need to see. I don't give a fuck how they
Exactly,
see me.
exactly.
You can see whatever the hell you want to see. I'm just within the community, just with us, is what we fighting for.
Ain't no question.
I have a comment that kind of stuck out to me, and this, I don't know if it does it for y'all, but this kind of it resonates well with me. Brother Alvin Norton the third. He said, if we ain't straight, you ain't straight, and I ain't straight. That is the mindset that we have to have. I don't care. That goes back to when the elders used to say, hey, how you doing? You don't, you don't have to mingle, but you should. You know, you don't, it's not being nosy. People pride themselves, I don't know nobody in my building. You should.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Watch out for their children. You know, I live in a 21-story building. And the lady on the third floor, she said, your baby came downstairs. He ain't had no shoes on one day. How does she even know? And then from that day on, I know her name. She know mine.
And she made sure she told you.
Yeah.
She was responding. That boy don't need to be in these.
Yeah, he was in. She said he got on the elevator and came down with no shoes on. I wasn't at home, but really, so we got to get back to that. And it's not. I'm gonna just mind my business. They're fearful of being a community, a village.
Yeah. So remember that call to action earlier. I wanted everyone to think about the youth in the community. Here's one more challenge, and I know it's stretching some of us because we comfortable within our own within our four walls. When I get to the crib, right, it's a feeling that hit me. Even if I've been holding pee for 30 minutes on the E-way, as soon as I get in front of the crib, right, it's really over in 2 minutes if I don't make it in, because I feel I'm at home. I didn't get comfortable.
Right.
My muscles relaxed, right? Listen to me. I want you to make it your business to think about somebody, it's possibly even the next door neighbor. You never go out your way to speak. Never. They could be out there sometimes. If you don't see me, and I can get the door closed before you see me.
Hurry up and get in.
And out the way. You know what I'm saying, right? But try to go, let's go out our way to, as my brother EJ saying, we talked about, to lead with love. Let that be the sacrifice. If you can't make it out the streets is watching, how about just speaking on your way to and from work? You know, instead of having the windows rolled up, like, look at this Negro right here. Hey, you know what? That's why I'm gonna have my shorties out here with they bad. Why don't you speak next time you come through?
And you know what? It's so African of us to feed each other.
Yeah, it is.
It blesses you. You know, so it's like, you know, you keep an eye out. You watching, you see the stuff that they bring in. Go on, but you ain't got to cook because, you know, COVID and everybody's scared of COVID. But, you know, buy some bread or something you seen them carrying in the house, like a case of water. Or, you know, I was at the store and I got an extra and I just, you know, how you doing? And there you go.
I promise you.
That breaks the ice.
Dear brother.
So, acts of kindness, family. Acts of kindness.
Yeah.
Real quick, while we got a quick second, I just want to shout out to the Young Kings before I forget, because I'm sure they listening. Roll Clark, Math and Science Academy on the West Side. I was just out there a couple of days ago speaking to them young men about, you know, integrity, innovation, and bravery, and this right here, like young men, like this is the last place. And for those that have sons, nephews that's listening in the house, like this, you want them to listen to this show right here, because we're talking to them. Young Kings, high school, the house that you're in with your mom, this will be the last stop that you'll ever be at to where this many people will be and have a concentrated effort into uplifting you. Bro, the rest of this is going to be an individual effort.
Uphill, single, by your
right
man.
now. If you don't lock in right now, bro, this is going to be an individual fight. So what we're talking about is unity. Black men, reach out to us. Sisters, if you know some brothers out there that got this heart, we know it's some kings out there. Brother E talk about it all the time. Like, man, it can't be just 30 of us. It can't be 40 of us. It got to be more than 50 of us in the city.
Is it 40? Is it 50?
Man, bro. Hey, I'm just putting the numbers up there, right? Can't nobody, you know what I'm saying? Nobody dispute it.
Okay, I fit my bad.
Bro checking all the
I put
numbers.
the numbers
We wanna
out
know.
there. These are arbitrary numbers, right?
I ain't throwing no shade, but the horn blowers and the thank y'all for what y'all doing, y'all welcome too.
Man.
And that's who really we trying to talk to. The ones that like, no, you know this is the right thing to do.
And
like,
you think another man.
This is the answer, but you like, okay, New
They
Era
got it.
taking care of it.
They got it.
Listen, fam, I
We
was
don't
gonna say
got
this
it.
earlier. We ain't got it. Listen, this is a cry for help. This is a cry for help.
Bro said,
But
nah, we
but at the same time, it's coming with a stern voice, because we know that we all we got and we all we need.
Come on.
It ain't never took an army to move nothing, but family, you got to understand me when you say we great with numbers. It's optics. Our children need to see this, family. So anytime you can give, anytime, in any capacity, it ain't just got to be streets is watching. Listen, we got sisters that contribute. When it's time for hood to hood, your sister, listen, before my arrival, I would hear some of the stories about y'all doing something just in the kitchen with one of our grandmamas locked in the back, you know, getting it in.
I forgot.
Food, resources.
I forgot.
Go
to
ahead,
mention
sis.
that. I forgot to mention that too this morning. I just wanted to be in detail how, you know, those Rakia's Rides meals. You know, that was you got, you know, chicken. You got about 4 sides. You got bread. We even used to have desserts.
Yeah.
You know, go on the trains in the winter, just passing out. They looking like, how much is this? It's free. You know what I'm saying? Don't cost you nothing.
And
reluctant to take it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's so foreign in our communities to receive love with just because it's your responsibility.
And how powerful it is. It has grown from, I think we started at like 125. And it just increased. And we up at 500. 500. And these is hot meals, FYI. These are hot meals. These is not sandwiches and chips and water. This is
We making
beans, rice,
Yeah.
smoked turkey,
Cornbread, chicken.
cornbread, and we in the kitchen. Just so y'all know, we in the kitchen. And it's just, man, even if it's not just like bro said, if you can't just do the streets is watching, come out to Rakia's Ride. It's a feeling that you just cannot describe. Being able to prepare and serve your people.
Listen.
You know what I remember? I'm sorry. When you speaking about Rakia's Ride, remember me, you, and your brother were on the train. I think it was the blue or orange, whatever line. And we met the sister. She dances. I don't want to say her name, but she started coming out with us. And it was
a dark-skinned girl.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I remember
and it
you
was
talking about.
Rakia's Ride. And we were on the train. And initially, she looked up because you got these two big black men. And it was like, you know, she had some young children with her, but she was looking like, okay, what's happening? And I remember your brother offered her some food, and she was like, okay. And she took it for the kids, you know, for the children. And it was just this energy that she had. And I was telling her about the organization, and I'm like, if you have any friends, you know. And she was like, I don't have no friends. I'm not going to cry. And she sat back, and I was like, why you say that? And she started crying. The need for us to get off our fucking ass for these children. This girl was in high school. She was on that train with nieces and nephews, traveling, broken. And all it took was for us to offer her something to eat and love. Just to ask her, me saying, what's wrong? Took her there. And then she started coming out with us. Then she started dancing, and we still follow her. The baby is modeling now. She has found
Her
herself.
spirit is definitely
Fierce.
different than when we first met her.
It is definitely different. If you
And absolutely beautiful.
damn it, y'all. Like,
When I tell y'all she's gorgeous,
Let me think back on a situation something that frustrated the fuck out of me. When we first started with advertising the community patrol, when we talk about Streets is Watching, that's our community patrol program that we talking about, right? When we first talked about it, man, we had hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people respond and talk about, I'll be there. I'll be here. I'm going. And it hasn't come to fruition. But something that I distinctly remember was, you know, me coming out, and I pull up to the community patrol, the Streets is Watching, and you, sister, you and your two babies is out there. And it's more women than men. It was about 4 brothers and a bunch of women and children. And I'm like, here we are. We have put out a call to the men to step up and take their rightful place as protectors of the women and the children. Right. And the women are coming out with their children to protect the women and the children. That's shameful.
and you've been saying that for years too, bro.
That's shameful.
Yeah.
That's shameful. That's sad. And as I said before, this is not about being the biggest and baddest, toughest motherfucker. Men stand up when they have to. If you don't see a need to stand up, it's something wrong with you. If you don't see a need to sacrifice, to give a few hours of your time a month, listen, you don't have to take on the whole movement, the responsibility. You don't have to dedicate your life like Malcolm and Martin, and nobody's asking you to die. Even, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm speaking to, I know there's some brothers out there that got it in them. I know it's some out there somewhere that got it in them. You know what I'm saying? But just commit to giving a greater sacrifice, just a little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time. And as I said before, there is no sideline. There is no such thing as I ain't in it. Right. The position that we are at right now, there are men, and then there are the traitors and the cowards. That's it.
Facts.
There are the traitors, and then there are the cowards. We all know what a coward is. A coward is simply somebody that is scared. Traitors, in my opinion, are the motherfuckers who just don't care, don't give a fuck or whatever. And I can tolerate somebody who's scared more than I can tolerate a traitor. With all this going on, so you think about what position it is that you taking up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, family, we got a couple of more minutes left in the show. I hope that something was said tonight that sparks a thought inside of you, something that's thought-provoking that you can sleep on, something that will push you to action. Something that you said to yourself, like, you know what, this is in my range. I can do this. I was thinking about doing this already. It comes natural to me. It's a natural skill I have. It's a young lady that lives down on the block. I know her mom works all day long. I see her walking up and down the block all day long. You know what? Next time she come by, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop her. I'm going to introduce myself, you know what I'm saying, let her know I'm right down the block, you know, and we just see what happens from there. Just see what happens. You know what I'm saying, family? It's organic. You can change somebody's life. That's what Sister Oya was just talking about. Now, that sparked more emotion in me than, you know, anything else we was talking about, because I can identify that that's a real person. Right? And listen to me. Even if you can't see the benefit right now, family, sometimes you got to step on that first staircase.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Even when you can't see the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
You got to step on it. And it's like going to the gym. When you come out for one of the programs, like every time you go to the gym, you always feel tired. But when you leave, you're always glad that you came.
Yeah.
That's what it is right there,
Exactly.
family. Listen, family. Anything else we got to say before we get out of
pick
here?
it
I know
up
we got like
next
30
week.
seconds.
Black man, your race needs you. I don't know what the fuck else to say. Yo, man, your race needs you. What else is there to say?
Nothing.
Come on, man.
You need you. Goddamn.
Come on.
It's the #1 Black Power Hour, New Era Chicago Radio, and What's in It for the Black People Media. Make sure you follow us on all social media outlets. My boy Reese, sis, and I got to get your name, sis. You're doing your thing back there. You know what it is. New Era Chicago, baby. New Era Nation. Let's go.
Oh.
Yeah. Gave us a number.
The skin I'm in fit me fine, tailor-made, yeah, I'm comfortable. And so it seems I'm still chasing my dreams. They told me, watch my steps, they want to pull the rug from under you. This is transparency, my life 3D. You live every word that I utter, reporting live from the gutter. Where the mind's hard to change, but we don't give up on our brothers and sisters. Cause we all need one another. The time's getting closer, revolution, feel it coming. I can smell it in the air. Inhale it, let it embody you. Because chances are the cops pull you over, they body you. Plus we don't trust each other, so there's just another obstacle. Why? Jump